and welcome to the GameFace SFNL Netball show. We're live again at the Dingley Courts.
Give me sunshine.
Leading into finals. And Hugh's loving the sunshine that's here. How are you, Hugh?
I'm well. How are you? It's much better than last week, isn't it?
I know, it's really Melbourne weather and it's made a huge spin with some lovely sunshine, perfect conditions for netball, so we'll make out for a cracking day.
My notebook got wet last week.
Yeah, I think it might have got drowned.
Yeah, it might have.
Yeah.
Happens when you drop it in a puddle on the court as well, but never mind.
Does.
That's another story.
So we're just going to quickly recap each division and look at the games that are coming up today. Obviously, as we said, we're live from the Dingley Courts, so beautiful conditions and second last round.
Bit of wind.
Yeah, there is a little bit of wind, so we'll make for an interesting day in that element. But let's jump straight into Division 1 results. Starting with the shocker a bit. Dingley went down to Heatherton last week, 26-38.
I wish I'd backed myself and tipped Heatherton. I was so close.
And I think this just really showed what finals can do and the pressure it brings.
Very true. This was a fantastic, in my opinion, fantastic coaching performance from Kelly Horton. Really set her side to restrict Dingley's ball movement, which no side's been able to do this year. And, it bore fruit, as you can see from the scoreline. Everton 38, Dingley 26. It's not a win, it's a convincing win. Yeah,
and probably one of the bigger wins in the higher divisions for finals. But congratulations to Heatherton there, straight into the grand final. And Dingley will be taking on Oakley District today. So Oakley District had the win over Mordialloc, and Oakley District having a little under undermanned, but bringing up some Division 2 players that made quite the difference.
And they did very well, didn't they?
Yeah, so some smart choices there by Oakley, and unfortunately Mordialloc dropping out of finals in the early stages. But today we'll be looking at the Dingley-Oakley District game. I personally think Dingley is going to come back firing. I think they're going to be really strong, and potentially that's the little wake-up call Dingley needed leading into finals. But I'm going to be tipping Dingley here.
I am so tempted to tip Oakley. So tempted. But I've got the words of my father ringing in my brain. My father used to say to me, son, you'll never be as smart as me. And he was right there. But he used to say to me, son, never tip against a minor premier that's got beat in the first week of finals. And if you don't, you'll be right 90% of the time.
Yeah.
So with Dad's words ringing in my ears, I'll tip Dingley, but it's not going to surprise me if Oakley win it.
Yeah, so we'll make for a really interesting game. Hard one to tip, but best of luck to both teams, and will be a stellar performance out here on the dry court, which I think will make the world of difference to the conditions and the quality of game. Moving into Division 2.
Yeah, now what happened there, Mac?
Interesting. Bears came away with the win, so we're straight into the grand final, which is lovely. But Heatherton,
because of the coach or despite the coach?
Oh, I don't know. Depends how you look at it. But Heatherton were amazing, and they brought it back to us in the last quarter. And I have to say, I was very relieved when the siren went, winning just by 2. So
they're a tough opponent, aren't they?
Yeah, Heatherton can't be underestimated, and they'll be taking on Oakley District today that had a convincing win over Murrumbina last week. So
I think that was a bit of a shock, to be honest. I thought Murrumbina might have enough guns to win that one, but again, I think the buzzword around Oakley in the week leading up to the game was pressure, because both the Division 1 side and the Division 2 side really brought a lot of pressure to bear. And it paid off in spades.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting. Oakley District didn't have an ideal run up to finals, and they pulled it together when it counted. So well done to them, and obviously taking on Heatherton today. Heatherton were really strong last week and brought everything to us for Bears. So I think Heatherton, for me, is going to come away with the win. I think they're just too strong, and I think that gap between top 2 and bottom 2 is really showing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and I just think Heatherton's youth, they were very polished and brought everything to us. So I think they're going to be doing that again this week, and I can see it being another Caulfield-Heatherton grand final.
Oakley They've proven to be a very good side in Division 2 this year, and we didn't know what we were going to get from them because of the massive growth in their club over the off-season. I think Everton are just going to be a bit too good. That's nothing against Oakley, but this Everton side's a good side, and Mac, you're not going to want to hear this, but it wouldn't surprise me to see them knock Caulfield off next week as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully the Bears can hold up, but it wouldn't surprise me either. I think it's a 50-50 game.
There's nothing between those sides.
No, and we'll be really close. And Division 3, we have Murrumbina straight into the grand final in a 1-goal win against South Yarra. So
match of the day, this one.
Yeah, a pearler of a game, and just Murrumbina coming back from being behind.
Yeah.
And
Murrumbina did everything wrong in the first 3 quarters here. Absolutely everything wrong. Nothing worked. South Yarra, hey, they're a good side.
Yeah.
They are a good side. But Murrumbina just flew home. And the only time they were in front in the whole match
was just before the siren.
30 seconds before the siren blew.
Yeah.
So,
that's the way to play finals. So we have
how it's done.
We have South Yarra taking on St Kilda City today. And again, it'll be a really strong match. And I think the performance St Kilda City had last week was quite polished. And I think that they'll really bring it to South Yarra. But I'm going to be tipping South Yarra just to come away with the win. I think they'll be really hungry from last week.
I'm going to go against you here. I'm going to go St Kilda City. They really put Doveton out of the game last week very early on. Doveton weren't in the hunt really. This is a division where there's very little between the top 3 sides, and St Kilda have the momentum. They had a flat spot in the middle of the season which stopped them from getting top 2. They're over that now. They're playing good netball. I think they'll get the job done today.
Yeah, it'll make for an interesting game, and obviously best of luck to both sides, and we'll make for a really interesting grand final with that close win from Murrumbina. In our next game, we have East Brighton straight into the grand final. We have Karen Patterson Lakes taking on Mordialloc today. So interesting there that Karen Patterson Lakes couldn't come away with the win, but East Brighton just really polished, a super united side, which I think makes the world of difference in finals. But today, Mordialloc and Karen Patterson Lakes. Again, I think Karen Patterson Lakes potentially had a little drop last week in their game, but I think hopefully for them they come back today and have a strong win over Mordialloc. But Hugh, I think you have a different opinion there.
Look, this will be close. I think Mordialloc would prefer to be playing East Brighton, to be perfectly honest. CPL and East Brighton was a war last week. It was a very tough game between 2 sides that do not like losing to each other. Springvale and Mordialloc, different hill of beans completely. A lot of mistakes. Mordialloc seized the initiative in the 3rd quarter, went on with it. Karen Patterson Lakes have lost their last 2, having been beaten by Springvale in the last round. I think they'll be too good, but only just.
Yeah, we'll make for a really tight game. Moving on.
Sorry, before we leave that, one big pointer. Mordialloc's Tian Willis, very good young defender. If she can keep Kimberly Harrison and Jess Cook under control, the upset could be on. Yeah,
be a game changer for sure. Looking at Division 5 now, so well done to our Mama Bears, straight into the grand final, so congratulations.
These girls just don't stop, do they?
It was a great game and really wet conditions at that point in the day, but we can't underestimate Doveton. I think potentially just Caulfield's game was a little bit too strong last week and the wet conditions didn't suit them, but we have Doveton taking on Lyndhurst today. With Aspendale Arrows dropping out. So a big win there from Lyndhurst last week, and I think the finals, they flourished, came through really strong, and were a really close team, and it was just great to see them play and have a really tight, contested game. Their defensive pressure was phenomenal.
It was. This could be close to the best match of the day, this one.
Yeah.
Lyndhurst are absolutely flying at the moment. They've had a great second half of the season, come up from outside the 4 about halfway through, not looking like getting beaten. Melissa May, their main shooter, was out last week. I'm not sure if she's back today. That'll strengthen them even further. I think they can beat Dufton today.
Okay.
Won't be any fancy score. Dufton are still a strong side, and they'll still bring a real finals intensity with them. Heck, it'll be close.
Yeah, and I'm going to back Lyndhurst as well. I just think their momentum leading into this game is so high and unstoppable that I think that will make the difference.
The snowball's running down the hill, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just think they're ready to polish this one off and get to the big dance. Division 6, so really close division here, and some interesting games last week. We have Murrumbina straight through to the grand final, and Heatherton playing St Kilda City today. So St Kilda City really showing that in that third and fourth spot that they can't be underestimated. Both coming away with convincing wins in all of the St Kilda City games in finals. So just shows that they're finals ready, and today they'll be taking on Heatherton. So
do you give them a chance?
I don't think they can be underestimated, and I think they still have a foot in the door, but I just think potentially Heatherton maybe just fell a little bit short last week and could come through with it.
This is one that nobody saw coming. Yeah. Heatherton being the second side, as well as Dingley in Division 1, to be undefeated throughout the season and lose the semi-final. Nobody saw this coming at all. Murrumbina didn't see it coming themselves.
Yeah, be like the Dingley in Division 1.
Well, that's it, very like. But Murrumbina controlled that match from the start, and once they got the noses in front, they were fit enough, young enough, strong enough to run the whole game out.
Yeah, Murrumbina were a bit of the underdogs last week, and I think Heatherton, hopefully for their benefit, will come back strong today. And I think maybe, as I said with the Dingley game, just that little wake-up call they needed, and getting that loss before the grand final potentially. So I think Heatherton might be too strong and united here for St Kilda City, but in saying that, St Kilda City can't be underestimated with their convincing win last week and just how strong they are as a team, and just some really key players in there.
City just snuck into the 4 in the last round. Had a very good win against Parkdale last week. Again, momentum, it's a big thing. I just think Heatherton are going to be a little bit too good. That's all. I just don't see Heatherton messing up, if that's the right term, 2 weeks in a row. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what we're saying here next week in the lead up for the grand final. Division 7, so some interesting games here, and I guess sort of the way things worked out is sort of how predicted. We had Hampton take away the win over South Yarra, so straight into the grand final, and Heatherton playing South Yarra today. So some really close games there. I think not shown on the scoreboard though, but on court you could feel the pressure that was among the teams.
There were 2 real finals, weren't there?
Yeah, and just the atmosphere was phenomenal. So South Yarra and Heatherton today will make for a really interesting game, and I think that it will keep everyone on their toes, and I don't think this one could be called until the very last siren.
South Yarra for me, they are a side that's pushed Hampton right the way through, even though Hampton have been very strong. I mean, they've always had South Yarra just over their shoulders. Again, this is a sort of situation where it's nothing at all against Heatherton. It's just that South Yarra are very, very strong for this division, and I think they can get this one done and set up a rematch with Hampton next week. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting
to see what happens there, and I think we'll keep everyone on their toes for sure. Division 8 now. So, again, sort of played out how expected. We have Dingley straight through to the grand final with a really convincing win over South Yarra. So, well done there, girls. And today we have South Yarra take on Cheltenham. So, interesting. Some youth in the Cheltenham side. And some strength in the South Yarra side. So, will make for a really interesting game. I think they're sort of chalk and cheese with some of their match play, and I think it will be a matter of who settles first today, and whoever takes that first quarter win will potentially come away with it.
Yeah, I like your thinking there. These were two very interesting semi-finals. Dingley have been easily the top side this year in this division. South Yarra really took it up to them in the first half. 3 goals of difference at half time. Dingley just pulled away. They won the second half by 15. They kept South Yarra to 10 goals in the second half. Cheltenham, on the other hand, against Dandenong last week, Cheltenham played with only 6 players for the whole game and won it.
Yeah.
You don't see that in finals too often.
No.
Now, I'm not sure, I've not been able to speak to anyone in the Cheltenham camp this week, but I'm not sure whether they're going to have a full complement of players this week. They'll need it against South Yarra.
Yeah, they will, for sure.
Look, for that alone, given that they're probably, even if they do have a couple of players back, they're probably not going to have a full bench.
Yeah.
On that score alone, I reckon I'll go South Yarra because they are a very fit side. They are a very quick side. They will run Cheltenham around.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
It will make for a really interesting game, that's for sure. And I think we have someone joining us for a minute. So
we do.
Some really exciting, someone from Oakley District.
I can see Jaya Blamthorne here.
How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you feeling about finals?
Yeah, good, excited.
Yeah?
It's a good day. It's like a beautiful day, so it couldn't have come out with better conditions. So it's,
Completely different to last
yeah,
week.
I know.
That's
So
for
it's
sure.
it's going to be pretty, good contested.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How are things looking in the Oakley camp?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
We come and feeling positive. So if we get every centre pass and get a couple of intercepts, we should, It's always tough against Dingley though. Always
Yeah.
is. So they're a very good team. So
Yeah. How last week, obviously coming away with a win, not having a full team in the lead up to finals and in finals, how did that all play out?
I actually hurt my ankle the second quarter of last game as well, and Zals is out with her ankle, so we are down, but that happens, all the time in sport. We've just got to come back, bigger and stronger, and hopefully we can do it.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
I love your really positive thinking. It will make a world of difference today, I'm sure. Anything changing in the lead up to finals in the Oakley camp? Anything funny happening?
No, just the same old. We're just going to stick to what we know.
Yeah,
and we do that really well. So got to keep doing us. So
beautiful. I love how you guys are putting the focus on you, and I guess as Hugh and I were saying earlier, we didn't potentially see the win happening over Mordialloc last week, and you sort of proved us wrong.
Yeah,
so who knows?
It was definitely a good game, and to win by what wasn't 1.
Yeah.
So 1 or 4. Yeah, it was very it was a tough game, but we pulled through. So
so have you got? You're obviously back in the mix this week.
Yeah.
Is that all that's changed in the terms of the lineup?
Yeah, that's all. Just I'm back, and hopefully
Bella back.
Yeah, strap me all the ankles, so hopefully it's all right. So
and is Bella back in the mix as well?
Yeah, Bella's back. Yep, Bella Riddle. Yep. So she'll be back, and everyone's back to normal. So.
Oh, awesome. So good luck today.
Thank you.
Hopefully we're back here next week saying that Oakley District's in a grand final. And
hopefully.
First year in Division 1, you've made a really big impact into the league and into the division. And congratulations and good luck today.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank
guys.
you so much for your time. All right, so very interesting to have a little insight there from the Oakley District camp, and just lovely to see how positive they are about today.
Yeah, look, they're really taking this one on, and in reality, they've got nothing to lose, have they?
No.
I mean, most of the neutral observers would think that Dingley would win this. So, when nobody expects you to win,
You're the underdog.
You're the underdog.
Yeah.
You've got that freedom to go out and express yourselves. They will have prepared for Dingley this week. Their coaching staff is very astute. They're clever people. They will have, well, I know they did. They will have watched Dingley v Heatherton last week, and they will know what Heatherton did to beat Dingley. Now, the style of defensive play that Kelly Horton brought to that game probably doesn't really suit Oakley's personnel.
Yeah.
But what they will have done is seen that Dingley didn't really have a plan B.
Yeah, and I think it sort of showed last week that as soon as you get on top of Dingley, potentially there is that turn in stride. And I just love how positive Oakley are.
Yeah.
And I think we can't underestimate them today with just having that quick insight there. And it'll make for a really interesting game. So if you're able to get down and watch it, please do.
Please do. And let's be honest, Dingley haven't needed a plan B up till now. Now, knowing AJ as I do, he will have dotted every I and crossed every T through the week to make sure that Dingley are absolutely cherry ripe for this one. This is going to be a good game of netball.
Yeah, and I think, as we said earlier on in some of the other divisions, we won't be able to call this one until the end of the game. And
it wouldn't surprise me.
I think that it would be a really stellar performance. I still do think Dingley might be that little bit too strong, but in saying that, I could be eating my words next week.
Tell me, Mac, last week against Maudie Alec, Oakley played the two talls in the goal circle, Gabby Dwyer, Ella Batish.
Yeah.
Now, Ella, of course, is that swing player. She'll play key defence or she'll play key attack. Bella's back this week. Personally, if I were Oakley, what I'd think about doing is starting Ella and Gabby in the goal circle and playing Bella through wing attack.
Yep.
Just to give that physical presence. Oakley. Dingley's defenders, very skillful defenders, but they're not massive in terms of size.
And I think in saying that, you can't underestimate a strong attacking line. An attacking line wins you the game.
It does.
Yes, defensively gets you the ball, but you're useless without goals. So I think that's really an interesting observation, and it will be it will make for some really interesting showing to see how Oakley does tackle that first quarter and how they do tackle that pressure, because we know that it's going to be there. It's just a matter of how they're going to get around it. So we might leave Division 1 there, and obviously a lot of food for thought. And as we said, if you can get down to see any of the games today, they're going to be absolute pearlers, and they're going to be some really tight netball in the lead up to the grand final. We're going to jump back into Division 9 now. So Division 9, Hampton coming away with a strong win straight into the granny for them. So congratulations. Couple of teams for Hampton now. And Murrumbina absolutely smashing it last week against Parkdale Vultures. And they'll be taking on Hampton Park today. So will be really interesting. Murrumbina, 66 goals last week.
66 goals. Chris Dent's girls really got the job done, didn't they? So, 66 to 26, you don't need to say any more than that, do you?
No.
I mean, it tells the story completely. Hampton against Hampton Park. Well, Hampton just been a bit too good for everyone in this division. And it showed again. They had the early game. They got the worst of the conditions. Only scored 34. I say only because it's a bit below their normal average.
Yeah.
But still managed to get the job done with a fantastic defensive display at the other end of the court. Really didn't let Hampton Park play, to be honest.
So I guess the big question is, who are you tipping today between Hampton Park and Murrumbina?
Oh, Murrumbina win this. That's 4 sides, I think. No, 3 sides out of 4 in the grand final.
Yeah.
I think they can do it. I think Murrumbina, obviously 66 goals last week, but their strength all season's been their attack. I have a funny feeling they might have a few too many guns for Hampton Park today.
Yeah, I think that Murrumbina have just... It shows that they really settled last week and that they're ready for finals. And I think that makes the world of difference in this tight competition, and also in the finals. The atmosphere is completely different. So they went out and played some solid netball. So potentially I think Murrumbina will be too strong. I don't think we can underestimate Hampton Park. So
in a little bit of off-court news, our producer Will Hunter is currently not concentrating on the show and putting his bets on with his sports bet account. So, Will, hey, we're over here, son. You didn't hear a word of that either.
So, will be interesting to see how Murrumbina flows into the finals today and how they take that lead that they had last week into the game. But, yeah, again, a super tight game, and I think we can't call it.
I'll call it. I'll call Murrumbina.
You'll call Murrumbina?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to sit on the fence with this one. But, yeah, we'll be keeping a close eye on it, that's for sure.
I'll be getting a phone call from Hampton Park through the week. Okay, Division 10. Here we go.
Division 10. So, some really tight games here, and I think that didn't reflect on the scoreboard again, but the pressure that was on the court was phenomenal. So we have Oakley District straight into the grand final with a win last week, and we have Clayton v Hampton today, and unfortunately Hampton Park's been knocked out. So Clayton v Hampton. Hampton having a convincing win last week on the scoreboard, and I think Hampton Park were really strong defensively and put pressure on them. It just, unfortunately, the goals came a little bit too easy. But Clayton, interesting. I think they have a lot of finals experience in their team.
They do.
And I also think that they are very hungry to make the grand final, and I think that makes a world of difference. In saying that, though, I don't think we can underestimate Hampton. Hampton have been really strong, and I think their game style of play is just really steady.
Tell you what, I described one of the other matches earlier on as being a war. The Oakley v Clayton, that was a war. That was skin and hair flying, nothing left out on the court. Absolute credit to the girls on both sides. For Division 10, they just brought everything to that game. Oakley finished on top. Goals another 2 or 3 minutes. It could easily have been Clayton taking on the biscuits. I can't see Hampton beating Clayton this week. Clayton and Oakley have been first and second right throughout the season, swapping positions as almost every round. They've been the two best sides. I think they'll play off in the grand final again. Looking forward to watching it if they do. Clayton for me today.
Yeah, I think Clayton's final experience will just be too strong, and I think they're just so hungry for that win. But who knows, Hampton could come out and prove us wrong.
They're a big side as well, Clayton. They're a tall side. They're a dominant side.
They're a strong side.
That's
how I would describe them, and they're really there for each other. So good luck to those girls today, and obviously some really close and interesting matches happening throughout the day, and as we said, beautiful conditions down here at the court. The sun is shining, the wind's coming and going, but as always down here at Dingley that's the case. But we wish everyone the best of luck for the games today, and obviously get down to support everyone and go watch some of those key matches.
It is a really nice day out here. Get amongst it, people. Come out and enjoy the weather. There's trees around. It's green. The birds are singing. There's a lovely breeze lilting through the leaves.
You're selling it well, Hugh.
I'm doing my best.
So, as always, thank you for supporting us, and make sure that you get down to the courts to come watch some cracking netball.
We thank our sponsors.
Yes.
Don't we?
Yeah. Bendigo Bank, Caulfield Park.
Swiv's Locker.
Yes. And Sports Performance Tracking. So thank you so much for your support, and as always, we really appreciate it. And because of that, we're able to bring you a live show.
And Mac, are we getting our GameFace on?
Oh, of course we are.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
And remember, get your GameFace on.